Good morning. My name is Oriana Aguilar. I am the Business Assistant Specialist for LAEDC. On behalf of LAEDC and the LA County, we would like to welcome you to our last webinar of 2020, Find New Business and Procurement Opportunities. For the last 2 months, we have provided you with various webinars that can assist you with your business, such as e-commerce, marketing, branding, access to capital, and business resources. We didn't want to finish the branding. We didn't want to finish the last webinar with giving you an opportunity to provide you more resources. So first, I would like to introduce to you my colleague, Richard Palais. He will be our moderator. Richard is a trained professional in financial services for 35 years. Currently, he is the Senior Vice President, and I'm going to pass over. He'll be our moderator for today, and I'm going to pass over the virtual floor to Richard.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all of you who are on the call today. We appreciate you. We certainly hope that despite the challenging times that we're in, you're holding fast to knowing, you know what, we're going to get through this, we're going to pivot, and we're going to make things happen for ourselves. You joined the call today because you recognize that there's an opportunity in that pivot process that you haven't explored before. Today, we are expecting with our panelists to be able to share some ideas with you so that you can consider a pivot strategy. We're so excited that you all could be with us. And with us today, we have Andrew Barrera, and Andrew is with PACE. Andrew is a senior business counsel there at PACE. He will be conducting the procurement section of our particular our meeting on today. You can see what happens when you start meetings at 10 o'clock. And then the other gentleman that we have with us following Andrew will be Marco Serpas. Marco is from the Recruitment and Worksource Center Services of the City of Los Angeles. We welcome you as well. And then finally, closing us out, the very, very important subject is PPE, right? So from PPE United, we have Toba Mack. She'll be with us and speaking to us. And I'm sorry, it's PPP Unite Lead LA Regional is what it looks like it says here. So PPP Unite Lead, LA Regional is her area, and the company is PPP United. So we're so glad to have you all here. If you're watching in your computers, which I'm sure most of you are, you'll see on the bottom right-hand screen, you'll see a clock. We'll be keeping time. We'll make sure that our meeting, as it has started on time, it will end on time. We'd like to remind everyone that our meeting will run through 11:10. The question and answers will be, a formal question and answer session will be at 11:05. We do ask, as you have questions, please feel free on the bottom of your screen in the middle. You'll see a box that says chat. Feel free to put in your questions there. Maybe there's something you want to tell us. We appreciate you. If you have the opportunity, when you open up the little more box, this is where there's the 3 dots and you'll see more. When you open that up, you'll see chat and as well as question and answer. So if there's something you want to share with someone in particular, you're welcome to use the chat there. Thank you so very much for all of you for attending on this morning. And at this time, it is 10:05. We're going to turn the meeting over to Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Well, I want to welcome everybody. It's a great pleasure to be able to sit down and collaborate with the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. I've been affiliated with them since probably that is dedicated to helping small businesses and help promote the economic engine here in Los Angeles, and they're noted throughout the country. So we at PACE, which stands for the Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, we greatly appreciate the ability to work with them. I have many friends and colleagues here as well. Our goal during these pressing times is to really help small businesses understand the new situation that we're in and try to reverse any kind of lost revenues and embrace a pivot and become resilient. And one of the ways to do that, if you're able, is to look at procurement contracting. Procurement is not necessarily just contracts with the federal government, but it is also in the nonprofit sector, the utilities, and the nonprofit sector. So there's contract opportunities, and the basic model for all of those is the same. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're going to spend a little bit of time right here. So right here, this is the best business practices section. So what we want, what this really is business development. You designing a business development strategy that's going to help you grow your business. If you're losing revenues, to try to stop the revenues, try to do some economic recovery, try to capture and maintain your existing customer base, and then start to expand out. So this basic platform here is something that you can use not only for government contracting, but to be utilized on how you're doing business now if it's in the private sector. But the number one thing that I look as a procurement manager is I try to find businesses that are contract ready or almost contract ready or close to being contract ready. And what that means, as a former buyer for the government, one of the things that I need to make sure that I have to mitigate risk. So just like a business loan, I got to make sure that whoever I give the contract to has qualified to produce on the contract, has the economic stability to be able to perform, and has demonstrated a history of successful performance on contracts. So those are all major things that we look for. So being contract ready. We're going to get into that, where we're going to go into the nuances of how do you know you're contract ready. And like, for instance, at PACE this last year, we've been trying to recruit businesses, and it depends on the sectors. So one of the things I would like to bring out is that in 2019, there was approximately $90 billion in the state of California in contract opportunities. And unfortunately, only about 6% of that $90 billion actually were secured by what we call diverse businesses, which is woman-owned businesses, minorities, veterans, LGBTQ, local, small, disadvantaged, all of that together was only about 6%. So clearly, there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I would encourage anybody that's participating right now to seriously understand what procurement is, how you can fit into that role, and that's a whole open door of potential opportunities for you. So, but we need to make sure that your platform, your business infrastructure is able to produce. And that can also happen by you either hiring staff or subcontracting with another small business supplier, or joint partnering on a bid. So there's many ways. So don't just look at it as I'm not ready. If you think that you have a product or a service that you can take to market that the government would may be interested in, or large companies, we want you to actually consider that. Talk with somebody like myself, somebody that maybe the SBA, the Small Business Development Center programs, the City of LA, the Women's Business Centers, and get some guidance to see, are you a business that is capable of getting contracts? So we want to determine if you're contract ready. And if you're not, but you're close, then we will help you, okay? The next thing, so in a nutshell, the protocol would be is understand your NEX codes. Okay, so just remember, every single business, we lost you. Every single business that we have, and we lost the screen, is based on the North American Industry Classification System. So if you're an electrician, or you're selling spoons, or you're a construction contractor, or you're an IT specialist, or a janitorial service, each service that you're providing has a specific NEX code. Everything is run by numbers. So if you're planning on doing business with the federal government, we want to make sure that you have a DUNS number. And we'll get into that in a minute, okay? But a DUNS number, and then when you get your DUNS number and you register into the federal supplier vendor portals, it will automatically populate part of that information. And what's going to be real important is the next slide or the next point, PowerPoint, would be registering your business in the various supplier vendor portals. Those match component that will allow, if a contract opportunity comes out, it will red flag your next code number. It's a 6-digit number, and it will automatically send you an RFP or an RFQ, request for proposal, an invitation to bid, proposal for qualifications. And that way you get notification of a potential business opportunity. In our case, with our clients, if you were to receive something that you think that you can perform on, I would say, send it to me. Let's go over the proposal together. Let's try to design a strategy on one, to see if you're capable of performing on that contract. Do you have the financial stability to be able to advance some of your costs on that? And how to put a proposal together for us to really determine and drill down what types of core competencies, what key services that you could bring to the table, and that we're making sure that when we submit a proposal, we're speaking their language. Because the government or agencies or large corporations that are looking to contract with you are looking for something very, very specific. And so we want to make sure that we're addressing what they're looking for, and that we're able to show that we're critical thinkers. And not only are we going to give you exactly what you're looking for, but we can bring a value added. We can bring something extra to the table. And we can also provide you with a reasonable, competitive bid to make us the best value to you, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer that works for the government or utilities or the private sector. After your portal registration, so first of all, identify your next codes. The next thing is registering the different portals. So we'll start off registering maybe with the state of California, how you procure, and with the county of Los Angeles and the city of Los Angeles and the utility companies. But then we're going to expand it out. So then maybe we go into Ventura County, in Riverside County, and Orange County. And maybe we register with Long Beach and Pasadena and Anaheim. And we're going to start expanding the supplier vendor portals that we expand the net that we're going to cast to get more opportunity notifications. And we need to make sure, even though we're on all these portals, that we take the time management, because this is a critical skill in business development, that you're taking the time and you're looking at these proposals. Now, some of them seem to be a little bit intimidating because they could be up to 188 pages, and you say, oh my God, that's nothing I can handle. But if you really understand how they're made up, you know, they're cut into 3 sections. One is basically public policy and authority that they can contract with you, and to make sure that you abide by the Family Leave Act, and there's some other aspects there. And that's to make sure that, because this is public money, that we have to make sure that the company that we give the contract to is a good corporate citizen, that it's designed for that type of company. Okay, so that's number one. We want to make sure that you're in good standing and that you're a good corporate citizen. The second part of the proposals are basically contract compliance. You need to have a bond, or you need to have this type of insurance, or you need to have these safety manuals in place. And here's a sample contract, and here's some reporting requirements. And it's just like a checklist of things that we can go through. Those are all important. And we want to be critical thinkers. We want to make sure that we get it. And I, as a buyer for an agency, I want to make sure that whoever I give the contract to is, I'm sorry, I could hear somebody talking. That whoever gets the contract is exactly what we're looking for. So, and then the last third is the actual proposal. So they may have some specific forms that they need you to utilize that shows that you can demonstrate that you are exactly providing the service that the agency or the company is looking for. that you have the ability to perform on time and on budget, and that you're putting forth a competitive bid that makes your proposal the best value to me as the buyer. So when we look at a proposal, when you look at it in those 3 sections, it's not as intimidating. And we will help you. I can't write the proposal for you, but clearly I can guide you. And what's probably more important is that we have a short-term strategy, and then we're building out from there, and we have a longer-term strategy. And one important thing about the platforms itself, you can do a tremendous amount of research in there. Okay, we're getting close. Thank you. We can do a tremendous amount of research. We're not there yet. Back up, if we could. So the vendor portals, you could actually research closed contracts that already been awarded, and to see if there's something there that you're performing. And what's real important about that is you can look for contract cycles, because certain contracts are short term. So 3 months, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, but some of them are a year or 2 years. And we want to be able to see that maybe this contract is coming out to bid again. So it's important, a good critical thinker, okay, a business manager that's trying to find new business will keep a master calendar and track those type of opportunities when they're coming up. And if we know that a contract, a bid is going to come out in January, and with the contract to be executed in May, and we're here in early December, make sure that we're finding that we have the talent, or that we're hiring subcontractors that will help us be able to, we can add to the proposal, that we can go after it. After that, we want to make sure that we get small business certifications. We're going to go into that in detail, but it's very, very important, because the government has mandatory goals that a certain percentage of the contracts that they issue have to go to diverse businesses. And the only way that they can count that is that you have the certification. Minority business enterprise, a woman business enterprise, a veteran, a disabled veteran, a local, a disadvantaged business, because the government will have mandatory goals. And if you don't have that certification, somebody that does may be able to qualify and get the contract. And even though you're highly qualified, they'll take the contract from you, okay? Capability statements, that's very, very important. A capability statement is kind of like a resume, but it's not a promo piece. It is a piece that clearly defines that it's a bare bone. This is who we are. This is what we do. These are the core services that we bring to the table. Here's our management team, or the key staff, or our key product that we're bringing to be able to perform. Here's our past performance history to show that not only we're saying it, but we've actually done that before. Okay, remember, it's all about risk. I got to make sure whoever gets the contract can perform on it, on time and on budget. So the capability statement is a very important thing, because myself as a procurement officer, if I was working for a government agency or for a large corporation or the utility corporations, companies, I would collect these, and I would try to collect a fair amount of businesses that I feel are capable of performing. And how do I do that? Is I have capability statements from those folks. So I have a stack, so I know that in the case of an emergency, or we have a specialty service that I think that you fit into that pool, I'm going to send you that. So that's why we want to make sure that we have a good capability statement. And just on a separate note, I'm going to be doing that workshop tomorrow on capability statements through our PACE network. So you might want to go on our website. Okay, so let's say you've done all this and you're receiving RFQs, RFPs, RFIs. There's a lot of acronyms, but in a nutshell, what it is, it's an opportunity. They're sending you a proposal because it matches the next code that you have identified, that this one of your core skills that your company provides, and they're going to send you a notice. because they want to hear from you. They want to see if you really think that you can perform or that you've done this kind of work in the past. That's the type of business that I want to give the contract to. And of course, it's a competitive process. But you know, if I can get 20 proposals and I can narrow it down to the top 3, the top 5, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So when we get those, if you see something that it's right in your wheelhouse, you make sure that you red flag it and you take it to one of your business counseling resources. I would say you can join us and we would help you. But that's what you want to do. And remember, procurement contracts can be as small as $1,000 and could be as large as $500,000, $1 million, just depending on where you're at. And we want to build that performance history so we can get to the point where we can, remember, this is a business development strategy to help small businesses just like you grow and be able to, in your capacity to deliver and go after larger and larger contracts, because the goal is economic impact, helping diverse businesses hire new people, develop new skills and services so they can provide whatever the public is or whatever that product service is designed to do, a high quality delivery. Okay, so you can see proposals and budgets. We need to understand, you know, how do I figure out a budget? What should my hourly rate be? Or how much of a markup do I need to do on my product and still remain competitive? And there's some basic fundamentals on how to put a bid budget together and how to write a proposal that's going to bring out and showcase exactly what your company does to prove to me that you're the best qualified candidate that I want to go with. Now, keep in mind, it's not always necessarily the lowest bid, because if you bring something extra to the table that I can take advantage of, I may not go with the lowest bid. But keep in mind, when we get to that short list of qualified individuals, any one of those individuals can do the contract. Okay, there's also business inclusion programs. That's very important. The city of LA has one. And what that means is, like, let's say there's meetings with the prime contractors. So when you register in these different vendor portals, make sure you register both as a prime contractor and a subcontractor. Okay, because there could be some very large contracts that, in order for them to get it, they need a small, diverse business that has certification that can provide the service succinctly what I need, and they'll send you an invitation to be a part of their bid what they're bidding on and competing with other large primes. So it also allows you to understand who are these primes, and it will allow you to reach out to them and to introduce yourself and to let them know that you are interested in being a part of their projects moving forward. So that's economic development, that's business development as well. So we need to know that. You could also research on these supplier vendor portals your competition. I say they're not your competition. They're a tremendous resource that you can either joint partner with, subcontract with, or research them and find out what type of contracts are they going after. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. If we have a competitor that's starting to take off in a certain segment of the market, we want to know that so we can build out our business infrastructure to do the same thing. So business inclusion programs are very, very important. And then clearly, you want to develop a network. I tell my clients there's 3 things when you start going to meetings or you attend events like this, is either it leads to directly to contracts or to contract opportunities or professional growth. So clearly, if I can meet other subcontractors that are in my arena or that can complement what I do or that can supplement where I'm weak or can provide a skill that I don't have, but I still want to go after this contract, we need to make sure that we have a solid subcontractor pool and resource base. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. So the next slide is, are you contract ready? So a lot of businesses, well, they feel very intimidated. Oh, I don't know, the government, there's too many regulations. Well, not really, but if you get a $200,000 contract, I think that you're going to make sure that, look, I'm going to do what it takes to qualify, to demonstrate that I have the ability to perform on this contract. And here's a checklist of things that you want to know. So number one, I want to start off with saying, okay, so I've been a small business contractor myself. You're not going to get the contract because you have a small business certification. You're going to get the contract because you can provide a high quality skill or product. You're bringing something of value to the table that specifically meets what that buyer is looking for. So remember, we need to make sure, and most of you as small business owners, you're experts on the product or service that you're providing. So I wouldn't have too much doubt that you're bringing a high quality product or service. However, you want to make sure that you're using the most current technologies and the best methodologies, and that you have high quality staff, which are very, very important. So we want to make sure that we can produce what they're looking for and what we say we can produce. If you have a website or your marketing materials, so as a buyer, when I'm looking at maybe the top 10 qualified vendors, and I'm trying to get it down to the top 3 or top 5, I'm looking at your website. Does your website say that you're doing the things that you're claiming on the proposal? If not, I'm going to tell you that's going to be a red flag for me that maybe you're just, beefing up your proposal to make it look like you can provide that service. Remember, it's risk management. I got to dig. And if your website and your capability statement and your marketing materials reflect the things that you say that you can do, then that is a good mitigation effort on my part to say, okay, this company looks legit. Can you demonstrate the ability to fulfill a contract? You say, well, I've never done a government contract before, but have you done other large contracts? So like, for instance, I have a client that I'm working with right now, and she's trying to cross over into government contracting, but her business has only been in existence for 2 years, and I had the same issue. However, she'd worked for other big corporations or other companies that provided that very distinct service. And she was able to demonstrate on that project that she performed on time and on budget on behalf of her company. So that means that she has demonstrated that ability in her own company, because that talent goes with her and that talent goes with you. So that's very important. Do you have the small business certifications? Okay, City of LA, 25% of all the contracts need to be small business enterprise certified, or 8% need to be woman-owned business certified, or 6% needs to be minority business enterprise. So if you have that, you're qualified, you're helping me hit my goal. So, and plus that shows that you're a more critical thinker. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, because you get it, and you're communicating to me that you understand not only can you answer this proposal, and you're providing a good bid budget, and you're able to demonstrate through your website and your proposal that you can provide the service, but you also are mind and conscious enough to get the small business certification, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, because you need to qualify. And we're going to get into that real shortly. Did you register in the major vendor portals? If you don't register, if you never get notice, you'll never know that you had an opportunity to get a contract. So how do we do that? We register in all the major vendor portals. And we're going to go through that real briefly as well. Capability statement. You have a robust capability statement that's attractive, that makes it easy for me to read and to move forward. Are you meeting with primes and trying to establish connections with government buyers, procurement officers? We need to know that. Otherwise, it's just a shotgun approach. And if we don't know who to talk with or what the proper channels are, and that's what you're doing here right now, is learning about that, you're going to have difficulty in getting your foot in the door. And we can help you with that. And your counselors can help you with that as well, okay? As I mentioned, your subcontractor pool. We want to make sure, because that is so important, because then now you're going to strengthen what your company is able to deliver. And, I worked for myself for many years, and I was I don't want to say I was greedy because I wanted the contract for myself, but there were smaller contracts. And it wasn't until I started partnering with colleagues or hiring subcontractors that I enhanced my capability to perform, and we started landing larger contracts. So that's important. So understand, you having a good network of which are probably your vendors or your competitors that are subcontractors that can provide additional services, that only enhances your ability to succeed. And then we could talk, doing research on best business practices. Let's go ahead to the next slide, please. Okay, so your next codes. So I had mentioned, so you can see here, electronic contractor, that's their code. A graphic designer, there's that code. You can research it. If you were to contact me and you become a client, I can send you a spreadsheet of resources that has how to research your next codes. But clearly, that's what you want to do. That's a absolutely starting place. Identify as a matter of business development and how you're growing. These are the things that I do. Not that I'm just an electronic contractor, but I do signal lights, or I do specialty lighting. There's a lot of subcategories in there. And you being able to identify each one of those categories, they may have different next codes. And when you register in those portals, you make sure you have to have a minimum of 5 next codes. And I've seen some as many as 20. And so that shows me, when I look at a capability statement, and they got 20 next codes, this company knows specifically numerous subcategories of things that they can perform. And that shows me as a buyer that you know what you're doing. And so that's what's really important. But if you don't have those next codes and they're not registered in the portal, there could be opportunities that you could have gotten contracts or bid upon that you'll never know about. So that's really important there. But keep in mind, business is managed through numbers. We can count our money. Those are numbers, right? We can count contracts. So we want to make sure that as a good business manager, not only that you can provide the service, but you understand the business management portion requires you to understand all the checklists of corporate numbers and licensing and all the numbers that I can get contracts, because that shows to me that you're a good business manager. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, supplier vendor portal registration. Okay, so this is a critical resource. Now there's 2 things here. One, you're going to register your business. Okay, you're going to update your next codes as you grow. As you get small business certifications, you're going to go back to these business registrations and put that you have those certifications in there. But remember, with certifications, each level of government has its own. So just because you have one with utility companies doesn't mean you're going to have it with the city of LA. They may not recognize, they're not going to recognize it. Okay, so each level of government has its own, but we can help you with that. But you want to make sure that they're current, okay, that you're current. All the information is current, that your address is current, that any certifications haven't expired, that if you've hired new staff and they can bring a new ability into your company, that you've recognized that next code and it's updated. But the supplier vendor portals are designed to collect qualified vendors, try to search them out. It's the process by which contracts and notices of contracts and opportunities that the government needs for services or products. Everything is managed through these platforms. And as I mentioned, they have the bid match component with the next codes, but there is so much more that you can do on those. And I'm going to show you a few of them in a minute. But you're going to go and you're going to register, you're going to sell to the government, but you could, many of these also you can log on and get the small business certifications, and you can research contract opportunities. So it'd be a little bit of a lazy thinker that you're just, now that you're registered and you're waiting back for all the opportunities that come. A more progressive, a better business manager a better business practice is that you go on and you research opportunities. Because what's going to be really important is we're going to want to find what are the trends in the market. My industry, these are the contracts that are starting to come out in our industry. And if we're not in a position to service that particular request 100%, then we know, because that's the trending of the market, that we need to build that part of our infrastructure. We need to get that together. We need to hire the staff, or we need to bring in that kind of equipment, or get that special software application that will help us be more efficient and current. And so that's really important. But there's so much information that you can look in here and find other subcontractors that potentially you can partner with. As I mentioned, meet some of the prime contractors and identify and introduce yourself. So there is so much information in these supplier vendor portals that's critically important. Let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, so here's for the federal government. So if you want to go to and you want to register, here's the Federal General Services Administration. So clearly you would want to sell, you would hit sell, and you would register your business. Now they have a thing that's called Beta SAMs, where you could do the same thing. One thing with federal contracting, it's very specific, okay? They do trillions of dollars of contracts a year throughout the country. I think here in California, there are roughly around, I want to say I think there are about 20 billion in contract services, because there's a lot of federal facilities here in the state of California. I think there's 28 military bases. Remember, the government buys every single thing that the public sector buys. I don't care if it's pencils, or it's cars, or services, or medical services. Everything that we buy in the public, the government buys as well. And you need to think in terms that in the military, you got military families, but it's really workforce. So the government has large workforce, or they're servicing the public. And so clearly there's a tremendous demand, and the government is not the sole solution. They need to subcontract that out and find the experts like you out there and hire you and put you under contract to provide services, okay? Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, here's the state of California. So here we go to this is the Cal eProcure site. You would go on that site. You would see where it says sell to the state. That's where you're going to register your business. Okay, they don't necessarily use NAICS codes. They use a different type of code, but you would enter the services that you can provide. And just remember, if you're just putting just electrician, you may be limiting what you can do. But if you can do auto electrical, you can do housing, you can do machinery repair electrical, you can do satellite electronics. There's a lot of nuances in there. We want to make sure that we put them all, okay? Then you can see the middle one. So this is where it says small business, disabled, veteran, business enterprise. That's where you go and you register to get a small business certification. State of California doesn't recognize women or minorities. They recognize small. So we want, and veteran. So we want to go in to there and we want to register, okay? Because it's going to enhance your ability. We're going to get into that. And you can see here, public procurement information. There you can go and look for current contracts. Okay, you can put the buzzword in there and they'll look it up for you, okay? Or we can look up past contracts that meet what we do to see if there's contract cycles. We can see who's doing what. We can learn from those businesses that have gotten the contract. What did they do? And I had one of my clients, he used the Freedom of Information Act on a metro contract, and he was able to pull 8 proposals that made it to the short list. And so that was very smart thinking of them. And they put a very competitive proposal in that we're waiting for. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so here's with the county, LA County. So this one is specifically for public works. So all of these have specialized portals where we can register and do the same thing. And you can see right there, right under where it says menu, certify, connect, and grow. So get a small business certification. LA County has a 25% goal. For small businesses, it's called the Local Small Business Enterprise Certification. And there you're going to get some preference in there as well. Discounts, mandatory goals, you get a bid discount. There's a lot of things, and we'll get into that in a minute. Next slide, please. Okay, here's for the city of LA. So you can see right there, right under where it says search bid opportunities, you can put electrician or you can put janitorial. And the site itself will pull up all the potential opportunities that are there. And once you're registered, they'll start emailing you notifications. Make sure that you're researching those. You need to manage your time. So, you know, I've had clients that said, oh, I got this notice, but I didn't look at until this week and it's due next week and I don't have enough time to put the proposal together. It's because they didn't manage their time. They did everything else correct, put all their NEX codes, they registered in these different portals. But as a prudent business manager, you need to make sure that you're researching as part of your daily duties or your weekly duties, or you will assign a competent staff member you're delegating that responsibility for them to research those contracts and opportunities. And if you get them, you're going to send them to me. We're going to go through it together. And if it looks like it's something that you're not capable of doing, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. But let's not tell yourself no. Let's see what the opportunity is, and then we can make a prudent decision whether to go for it or not. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so now let's talk about certifications. As you can see, there's the purpose for certifications, as I had mentioned. Oh, okay. Oh man, okay. I'm taking way too much time. Small business certifications, I'm going to go over it real quick. Three main things. Let's go to the next slide down. Okay, each level of government has its own certification, but the benefits are that the government has mandatory goals. You can see from 25% to 3%. That means of all the contracts, LA County, they do $9 billion a year in contracts, procurement contracts. 25% needs to be the small business certification. Local preference. Some of the contracts, if you're located within the county, you're going to get 5 extra points on your proposal. Bid discount. You put in a bid at 100,000, I put one at 90. They're going to give you a 15% discount on your bid budget. And what that will be is that all of a sudden your bid comes in at 85,000 and mine now is higher at 90,000, and you're going to be the better value and you're going to get the contract. Information to cover. I'm going to stop right here, but I want everybody to know that we're a resource for you here. The SBA, the Small Business Development Center, the Women Business Centers, the City of Los Angeles. We all have counselors that are here to help you. And at PACE, we have both a Women Business Center and a Business Resource Center. And I manage a program called GoBiz that is a program through the governor's office. And I am here to help you. If you think that you can do business with the government or with utilities or a large corporation, you come and see me. Let's see what you bring to the table, and let's go get some business. And with that, I would like to thank our time here, and I look forward to continue LAEDC and providing these workshops and do it a little bit more expeditiously next time. Thank you.
Andrew, we'd like to thank you so much for the information that you gave today. I took copious notes, actually, and I just want to remind our audience of some key expressions that you made. You said, be contract ready. You reminded us to understand what your NAICS code is. You said to us, we need to start our short-term and our long-term strategy. And you also said to us that we should know the websites and how to find where the contract opportunities are. Valuable information. Thank you so very much for that. I hope, again, our audience was able to take their notes. I tried to write down quickly and try to keep up because it's a lot of information, but it's a great opportunity. And we want to constantly remind our audience, please make sure you call Andrew over at Pace when you're ready to say, I want a part of, and Andrew, how could I forget? $90 billion, and only 6% of that were taken by minority business owners. So hopefully those that are on the call today will
And
take
diverse.
advantage. I'm sorry, oh, and diverse, excuse me, thank you. Minority and diverse businesses, thank you so very much. We want to remember that. And it is with great pleasure we're going to go ahead and bring forth the opportunists that we need in small businesses. We need somebody to help us understand that there are work source resources. There's a way to find those qualified employees for our businesses when we are seeking to grow. After talking with Andrew, we're ready to grow. We applied for a contract. Now we need some people to help work the contract. So at this time, I'm going to introduce the director of the Work Source Center in Canoga Park, Mr. Marcos Serpas. Marcos,
Thank you,
welcome.
Richard. Good morning, everybody. We're almost at the finish line, so I won't take too much time, only about 5 minutes or less. Once again, my name is Marcos Serpas, and I'm the program director for the Canoga Park Worksource Center. And for those of you that are not familiar with America's Job Center, we operate, or our center is one of 16 that operate in the city of LA. Currently, all 16 centers are open at some capacity. Some are allowed walk-in and others are by appointment and or virtual, but they're all accessible by phone. And we can give you that list later on. That list can be provided to you at the different locations across Los Angeles. We also work in partnership with the state of California's Employment Development Department. Important to know that there are 200 centers in California that operate or provide these services. And across the nation, I believe it's about 2,400 America's Job Center. And with the ongoing pandemic and shutdowns, these services are needed more than ever. Some of the services that we provide to job seekers: job search assistance, resume writing, interviewing skills, networking, job club. Obviously, this is through virtual. And vocational training. Our center focuses on two sectors: the medical industry and the manufacturing industry. We work with different vocational schools in which we fund the training for those that are trying to transition into these high growth, high path careers. One important program, I think it benefits employers, and if you want to save money, is OJT. And what is OJT? OJT is on the job training. This is an important program because it helps you save money if you're going to hire folks and if you need to train them. OJT is a training after an agreement is established. The training is provided by you, the employer, to a participant while they work for you. The training provides knowledge or skills necessary for that new employee to perform a job. The training is limited in duration, taking into account the training content and also the work experience of the participant. In return, we provide reimbursement to the employer of up to 50% of the wage rate of the participant. This is for the extraordinary costs that you as the employer provide to the participant to train them and to be up to speed or up to skill for the work that they're going to be performing. So the four main points of the OJT program is that it is a training program that you provide. The trainee is referred to and hired by the employer. Their productive work is defined by the employer. So you tell us what it is this person's going to be learning. So you're in the driver's seat as far as describing the work that they're going to perform. And the work and required training that is necessary for the participant to be up to the level that is required to be a full functioning without assistant for the work. Additional services that we provide for the employers are pre-screened candidate. These are folks that you don't need to be part of the OJT, but are qualified. We can pre-screen them for you and refer them to you. We also do targeted recruitments and job fairs. Obviously, right now with the shutdown and everything that's going on, it would be virtual. Some additional services that we provide along with our business services partner is business planning, financing, access to capital, one-on-one consulting, permits, licenses, and other services. This is not all an exhaustive list, but this gives you an idea of the services that we provide for job seekers and or employers. That's it for my information. If you have questions or need more information about these different programs, you can reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Marcos. I'm not sure if we've put your information. Doesn't look like we put your contact information. And Andrew, panelists are asking for your contact. Excuse me, panelists. Audience members are asking for your contact information. If you gents would mind, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm sure LAEDC will follow up with providing that information as a second place in which they're going to get it from. But if you don't mind, if you could just put that in the chat. And Amand, I believe is how he pronounces his name, is especially asking for Andrew's presentation. And we're very excited to have you all here. Thank you, Marcos, for what you shared. OJT, so somebody's going to pay part of what I make as the employer to train my employee. So part of that cost is going to be offset by you. Is that correct? You can nod
That's
your head.
correct.
Oh, good. You didn't turn your mic off. Thank you. That's exciting. I'm going to hire 6 people, and I'll go ahead and have you help them. Pay me to train them. I love that. Thank you so much. I hope our audience caught that. That is very, very exciting. I was going to say that the operative word here, because our next speaker is coming up, is free. But for you, it's not free. It's kind of like free because it is 50% of a salary that you don't have to pay for. So that's a 50% free. I'll take it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. That is incredible. Thank you, Marcos. Want to encourage the audience again. He's up in Canoga Park. He's the director of the program. I've been to your center. It is a very large center, and the people there are absolutely amazing. Pace as well, which is in Mid-City, Los Angeles, where Andrew is located. Everyone is just so willing to help, and I want to remind our audience, this is why we brought you to this panel today. We want you to know that your city and the county stands behind you in the importance of your small business and wants to give you resources to help you thrive in these very, very challenging times. And this is all a part of your pivot. So next up, we have with us the founder of PPP United. Madam Founder, thank you so much for joining us. This is Ms. Tova Mack. She's the founder of PPP United. She's going to tell you all about what her organization that she has founded does. And she's also working a part of the LASBDC network. If you don't know what those initials stand for, I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to ask her to go ahead and tell us all about PPP United and the LA Small Business Development Center program. Oops, I gave it away.
All right, thank you so much, Richard. I really appreciate it. So if everyone can see from my background, I'm doing a promotion here for PPE Unite. What we are doing is we're an organization that was founded out of the crisis. So we've actually done this quite quickly. And what we are doing is we are working in partnership with the Small Business Development Center here in LA, the State of California Emergency Services, Cal OES, and LA County Workforce Development and Aging Services, and DCBA, which works on consumer and business services. So a lot of people in the county, the state, and the Small Business Development Center here in LA, which has 9 centers here to support your business and provide no-cost advising and free training. We all got together and we figured out how we could work to distribute free PPE for all LA County small businesses at this time. I'm going to drop our information into the chat so you guys can get a chance to look at our website. But it's interesting to hear, Marcos and Andrew speak because I bridge so many of these things as well. I'm a small business advisor and have been for about 3 years with Bixel Exchange at the LA Area Chamber of Commerce, and spent some time over the last few months as their director. So in working in economic development, I worked firsthand over the past 6 months, specifically, working with small businesses directly and dealing with the problems that they have. Now, one of the biggest needs that we saw on the ground were 2 things that are really happening. We're running out of money. We're not sure what to do with our employees. How do we keep them safe? How do we keep them working? It's very difficult during this time. So many organizations like the WorkSource Center and PACE are working to help you through this crisis. But PPE Unite is an organization that we founded because one of the biggest things that is hard for very small businesses and micro businesses to do is to get secured PPE. It's expensive, and it takes a minute to figure out where you can get it, how to make sure it's always available, and what are the rules within the county in order to stay open. So what we're doing here is that we have multiple distribution sites. You can go sign up on our site, and you sign up and book a time. We have 2 distribution sites. We are countywide. We have one down in South LA in Compton. We have another in San Fernando Valley. And we're handing out PPE. It's really that simple. You sign up, you let us know your basic information, you book an appointment, you come pick it up. We're giving away masks and sanitizer and face shields. And really the goal here, and why it's so critical to talk about, is that I'll let you guys in on the exciting news that I actually have just secured this last week, which is we're expanding our program. We started with 5.5 million units from the state of California in order to distribute it to small businesses. And the other thing we have now is LA County has decided, due to the crisis we're in, I know it's really hard out there, we are working on providing 10 million more masks for LA County businesses and nonprofits and organizations. So if you can spread the word, if your business needs help in LA County to sign up, that's all it is. We're providing free PPE for 30 days, bottles and bottles of sanitizer, masks for you to keep moving forward with your business. Our goal here is to remove a line item from your budget and to remove a stressor from your work as you work to run your business. There's so much to figure out. But the other thing is that because of our partners, we have information for you. We have information about small business development centers who can provide advising at this time. We have information that we can hand out easy access from the Department of Health. They are changing rules a lot. I talk to them quite frequently, and you have to know how to be able to safely reopen your business. And so we just want to make everything we can as easy for small business owners as possible. So my information, I've put it in the chat. I'll continue to do so. Our website, oh, here we go, is right behind me. I'm going to Vanna White this for a minute, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I built it. It's fine. But look, the goal here is just sign up. Click on get your PPE. Oh, it's over here. It's over here. Right there. We ask for basic info. It's just, what's your business? Where are you located? We have to make sure you're in LA County. So that's why I need your address. It's pretty basic. And we ask for your phone number so we can send you a text to remind you you have an appointment. It's just like picking something up. The dentist reminds you about your dentist appointment. We're reminding you that you're getting free PPE. We have a platform to make it as easy as possible. Our staff is out there at our multiple locations. And the other exciting news, and why I'm so grateful that LAEDC was able to have me on, is that because we are working in tandem with LA County Safer at Work, we have a focus in getting the PPE into hyper-local communities. And what does that mean? Okay, well, we did an event in Montebello in East LA, and we worked to sign up all of the Montebello businesses that we could by having our street team help them with our registration. And we distributed PPE to over 250 businesses in 4 hours. So we're gonna run more of these events, and it's a difficult time to do that, I'm gonna be honest, but it's a drive-through. Just like the COVID testing is as safe as possible, you drive through, you have an appointment, you open the back of your truck, I'm loading free PPE in there. That's all there is to it. So we have our next event, and you can sign up on the site. It's the exact same sign up. You just get to pick where is easiest for you and what date is easiest for you. And then you get to choose when you can come pick up your free PPE. We will be in Leimert Park in tandem with Hot and Cool Cafe, who's a community leader and a social impact organization in Leimert Village there. We're working with the Leimert Park Merchants Association. We'll be there this Saturday, and we'll be handing out PPE. So if you are in the area, sign up now. I still have slots open, and we can see you on Saturday at Leimert Park. We'll be doing one of these events every Saturday around the county so that we can try to make sure that we are distributing this PPE as fast as possible into the businesses and organizations that truly need them. That's really all I have to say. If you have any other questions, we also have a call center. Our website is in English and in Spanish. We are working to get it into other languages as fast as we can. Our call center is available. It's right on our website. You can call for questions. If you have a hard time signing up, no problem. We have people answering questions for you. So there's as much as we can do. We just want to keep helping. And my program's a little easier to explain because it's pretty basic. It's just sign up and get free product to help you right now. But the work that the WorkSource centers do and that that PACE does is really critical as well. So think of us as one big economic ecosystem, and we're just here to try to make sure your business can move forward, whether it's through procurement, working with the government, whether it is through new customers that you may look at, key acquisitions. How do you retain your customers at this time? The critical thing is that there are resources out there and there are people that are working to help. And I'm doing my small part handing out free product, but there are people that work every day, day in and day out, to advise your business, whatever your capacity might be, to help you. So I would just encourage everyone to take advantage of those resources.
Thank you so much, Tova. PPP Unite. I don't know where I keep getting United from, but that's okay. We appreciate you. Thank you again, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, for the information that you've shared on today. To our audience, we want to remind you the one word that you can always say and always smile that everyone was talking about: free. Free. Say that word as you hang up the call on today. Just say free. Remember PPP United, PPE Unite. Remember Marco Serpas. Remember Andrew Barrera. This is PACE. This is PPP Unite. This is the LA Regional Workforce Center. And now I turn the further part of this program. And again, thank you all for attending with us on this morning. My name is Richard Ballet. I'm the Senior Vice President of Community Lending for AMPAC Tri-State CDC. I am located in Southern California, in Ontario, California, but we're available to do loans for you. We do loans that banks cannot do. That's what we're here for. So we appreciate all of you. We're here to serve. We're here to help from $5,000 to $150,000. We like to call ourselves the lowest price leader. And our job is actually to figure out how we can get lending to small businesses so we can move you further, make your family stronger, your communities better, as champions of job makers. Go and hire. Thank you for what you do. At this time, from the Los Angeles Economic Development Center is our final closeout speaker, who's going to bring us kind remarks. We appreciate you, Ms. Angelica Benuelos.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. In behalf of Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation, we want to thank you for your participation. We want to thank our presenters, Richard, Andrew, Marco, Stova. What a great information. Please take advantage of these free resources. They will be so helpful in your business to grow, especially at this time that we are all facing. So make sure you have their information, send them emails, get everything free, free, free. And in behalf of the LAEDC, thank you so much. It's not gonna be the last one of this year, but we're planning to do more webinars, bringing you more information, different resources, great speakers like the ones we had this morning. Please be safe and take advantage of all the resources. Stay tuned. Thank you.